Soul Garden.
Hello, Your Royal Majesty, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Update. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christpher Witecki, your host to the universe. And some good birthday news. If you haven't already given yourself a present, I'm now offering a free 30-minute follow-up with every 60-minute purchase. So act now. If you come down to soulmart.me and buy a 1-hour reading, I'll throw in a free 30-minute follow-up. This is great for first-time readers. This is also great for nailing through some deeper issues. Other exciting news, come be a part of our studio audience. We now have video chat online with soulgarden.me, so come on down. You can hang out. You'll see a lot of us hanging out. Our whole goal is to have a live soul always on the site. We don't want anyone ever feeling lonely, so come on down. Well, Your Royal Majesty, we have a very good time. Happy birthday. It's the last time I'll say this year. Did you watch my, what's the word? Unite the Light show last Friday? It was all on Leos. So if you missed it, you should go. I brought some of my favorite Leos on camera. We're wrapping up your birthday period this week, and we're shifting to a new lesson plan, which will focus on your soul capital. But before we do that, we've got to focus on your ego. Right? This is the last finishing touches. Now, the new moon was last Friday, Lightcast Day, very powerful day, very intense weekend. That's because Mars was hitting Saturn at the same time. So as we were trying to cast out our self-love and trying to cast out your new ego, you're also being hit in the head, literally, with Mars and Saturn. So as we start on Monday, actually it's cloudy and kind of rather pensive. The moon in Libra pulls emotions into your mind, and so you're kind of processing maybe the weekend, processing what you just lived. A lot of processing going on in that sense, and processing is a big part of what we're going to be learning here right around the corner and this week as well. It's a very intense week for head games. Monday, these head games do start to begin. Now, there's also an opposition during the course of the day between Uranus in Aries and the moon in Libra. This is part of the mind game thing. The moon is pulling emotions into your mind, whereas Uranus is calling for your belief structure to innovate. So to find peace in your mind, you're going to have to innovate some of your beliefs. That's what the opposition is between the moon and Uranus. So that's part of what I think throws us off on Monday and does test you a little bit in holding space. But the goal here on Monday is, despite the mind game challenges, hold space. You want to hold space with the new ego, the ego that protects your self-love, protects your light in your center. That's what you want to do, because Tuesday, things get hard. That's right. Showers, chance of severe mind games on Tuesday. So Monday was kind of like a warning. There's a lot of things going wrong. It's a little bit of a perfect storm on Tuesday. On the one hand, the sun is 29 degrees, so this is the last degree of Leo. You're being tested into the old ego, tested into the old defenses, tested into the old irrational self, you know, the parts of you that just react irrationally. So try not to. I mean, the point is to hold what you feel and act on what you believe. So you want to really push your good feelings forward, not get trapped in the old feelings. That happens every year on the last day of everyone's birthday, but you know, you're feeling it. What's also adding to this today, though, is a lot of stuff going on in your mind. In fact, the mind might be what challenges the self-love ego strength. Let's take a closer look, shall we? With Saturn. You see, the moon will cross over Saturn, basically. That's in our mind. So that's going to call for you to let go of obsessing about an emotion, obsessing about something you felt, obsessing about old feelings. Hours later, the moon crosses over Mars. This is going to make things get more aggro, right? Mars is our aggressive, masculine, testosterone energy. So the moon first crosses Saturn, which causes a lot of questions and wanting to decide and wanting to cut off. What you want to cut off are the mind games. Then the moon hits Mars, and boom, it aggros up. That might turn into an argument with someone, so be careful about that. And also be careful about what you say before you say it. Mars is also at 29 degrees, so this is the last oomph that the universe is putting on your mind games before working on self-nurturing here right around the corner. So Tuesday is a doozy, to say the least. Indeed. Indeed. On Wednesday, it clouds up. The sun moves to 0 degree Virgo. 0 means 0. That's the no man's land between two states of awareness. So we're now shifting to the new topic. We move out of your birthday in ego and love charisma and into what we call soul capital. Then the moon is in Scorpio, so I'm predicting cloudy, nesting, and resting on Wednesday. The planets themselves are rather quiet, and the moon in Scorpio really does kind of break away from Mars and give us a bit of a break. So if you can on Wednesday, you want to take some nest and rest, to be a little R&R time. But this shifts now to what the focus of this month will be. Now the IB energy, or the Virgo energy, or reality, Virgo rules reality, and for Leos, reality rules soul capital. So self-esteem is directly tied to reality when you're a Leo. That's why a Leo has a hard time ignoring reality to light cast something even greater. But when a Leo does light cast, every little detail of reality is in it. This is really your house of manifestation, soul capital. It's the spiritual energy that you use to manifest things. When you are a Leo, your Virgo IB reality energy is directly focused on soul capital. So this is a nitpicky, very picky, detailed awareness of why you're valuable and why you're not. And for a positive, pro-positive Leo, you have billions of reasons why you're valuable. But if this energy is mismanaged, you have billions of reasons why you're not valuable. So in the first chapter, there's 3 chapters to Virgo: live, love, and be. That's where live, love, be comes from, the 3 chapters of Virgo. And in the live, we're going to talk about how you live. How do we live in the moment? Do you feel your value in the moment? Do you feel your soul capital in the moment? Do you feel nothing but deficit? Do you feel nothing but negativity? We're going to be looking at your value consciousness in the moment in the live portion of this chapter. So as we move in on Thursday, the sun clicks into 1 degree Virgo. You are still nesting and resting, but you're beginning to really feel what you're worth. So you might have some issues with money, you might have some issues with productivity, you might have some issues with not feeling strong enough to get to work. That's because you don't have enough value consciousness in there. It's a real test. But there's also a bit of a tug of war going on Thursday, which is a tug of war that's going to last for the rest of the week. That tug of war deals with the sun versus Neptune. This is literally God versus reality. For you, this is a sensibility. Neptune represents where you feel your boundaries should be. You're very liquid about it. You're not quite sure. And changing boundaries allows you to change value, right? Low supply, high demand, that sort of thing. But your own personal boundaries and issues are directly opposing your sense of self-esteem. So you might have crossed a boundary that made you feel low about something. You might be harboring something. Remember, your mind is having a lot of storms, and it's dealing with still Mars and Saturn. But this opposition, I think, is really the focus of Thursday as we begin to switch in. This moon in Scorpio that trines down to Venus in Cancer, this actually is like a live wire between your sense of security and your growing faith. Venus in Cancer is helping you to grow greater faith. So as you process and begin to nurture yourself with the moon in Scorpio, your faith should expand and you should feel better. Then we get to Friday. Now Friday, the sun is ruled by the moon, so emotions really do rule the day. For the beginning, it's kind of nesting, resting, but the second half of the day, the moon moves into Sagittarius, shifting emotions for Leos to their inner child. So you are happy once again, yay! And we all like that, of course, don't we? The emotions, now there's also an extra blessing on this day that I think adds to everything and maybe kind of solves the day for us, or really helps us solve the day, and that's this soul pyramid. As the moon shifts into your inner child, it will lock into Uranus in Aries and Mercury still hanging back in Leo. This will be a synergy where you'll have a grand tripod kind of like realization based on how you feel, connecting to your inner child, that will draw you to new conclusions of changing beliefs. So by changing beliefs, you will free yourself, and I think this will free Mercury in Leo so you can think and move forward with your self-love. So self-love kind of opens up again, triggered by returning to your inner princess or prince on Friday with the moon in Sagittarius. On Saturday, Jupiter rules the day and the moon is in Sagittarius. So it's a very Jupiter, sunny, creative, but quite still day. Why do I say still? Whoops, excuse me about that. I say still because of this grand square going on, this massive tug of war. Now, we've already had the sun versus Neptune all week. That's your personal, where you draw your boundaries intimately versus how that affects your self-esteem and value. But on this particular day, we also are blessed with the moon versus Jupiter in Gemini. So suddenly you will feel a pull between what your heart wants and where you feel like you should be expanding or growing in society. So when you're pulled in 4 directions, the answer is do nothing. It's going to be a still day, it's going to be a creative day, it's going to be a day of processing. But Saturday, no matter how much you want to explore, it's really just about private learning. Don't expect too much. You're just going to frustrate yourself fighting these things. Sunday, however, things are problem. Showers, chance of dis-ease in the soul. Now, it's a breakdown day. Uranus rules the day, so this is going to be the first breakdown of finances, self-confidence, or whatnot. Anything built not on solid soul capital may collapse. It's actually a present in disguise. It's here to help you understand that you can change things now and get things in order. Virgo energy itself is the cleanest energy in all the zodiac, so I think this will be the easiest transit of the year. So no matter what's happening with this breakdown, I know we can get through it, all right? That's one thing to know. But let's take a closer look at why. Why? Well, it has to do with the top there. You see that blue line from the sun, 4 degrees, up to the moon conjuncting Pluto? The moon conjuncting Pluto is going to literally emotionally light a fire that triggers the breakdown breakthrough. Let's take a closer look. As the moon approaches Pluto, it's going to be calling for you to let go of old lifestyle patterns like being depressed in the moment or being unhappy in your body. And as it moves forward, you're going to be so sick of whatever this lifestyle is, by the final conjunction right here, hopefully you'll let go. At that point, there'll be a release. In other words, you'll be able to see or feel a new daily reality. And that's what the moon crossing Pluto is triggering. It's shaking up your lifestyle, shaking up your reality, calling for you to step into a new moment-to-moment reality based on releasing from old emotional patterns in the moment or old emotions in your body. Some people get stomach flu, some people get sick during this time because it just literally drains and releases. So that basically, here we go, trines down into the sun. So whatever that feeling, it could be a sickness, an issue in your body, but it triggers the breakdown in feeling worthless or feeling not valuable. Or feeling valuable or having money problems triggers the body. But the two go hand in hand, and still the sun is opposing Neptune. So you're still trying to find boundaries and trigger and balance that with your soul capital. So unfortunately, this particular soul horoscopes does not wrap on such a happy note. Do keep in mind that circle there, Mars and Saturn. Mars moves into Scorpio and starts helping you take better care of yourself, but it's still conjuncting Saturn, meaning you've got to step into the right attitude and don't let yourself slip back. So that is a constant this whole week as well. Definitely a heavy week for everyone. All right, Your Royal Majesty, that's 11 minutes and 22 seconds. This shows how much I love you. I do. Be sure to come back in 7 days. Pick up a reading while you can and while I'm available, and I'll see you again in just 7 more. Until then, live, love, be.